Welcome back to Gooner Fanzine TV. We're in Arsenal's winter break, but there's still loads to talk about to discuss things such as Aaron Ramsey in Juventus and Nicolas Pepe. We've got Serge, we've got Layth, we've got the triumphantly returning Glen. After a hiatus from the podcast, he is back, and his notes are back. And we also have down the Mountney. Boys, first off, Aaron Ramsey obviously left in the summer for Juventus. He had a sort of a strong start. He scored in his debut, didn't he? But since then, he's had another injury-hit season, and now there's talk that Juventus are going to get rid of him in the summer, sort of cash in on him. Dan, I mean, are you surprised by that?
Not really, no. I don't think that he was particularly a Maurizio Sarri signing. Obviously, it was signed before Sarri was named manager. I don't think it particularly suits his style. Obviously, you know, we saw how he likes to play when he was manager of Chelsea last season. I don't think it particularly suits where he wants to play. I'm not really surprised, to be honest. I mean, I don't think that he was ever going to get as many minutes as he thought he would. There's obviously a lot of midfield competition. So, you know, cashing in, I kind of saw it coming in a way a little bit. Obviously, you know, we spoke to Anton, which we'll come on to, and he said he was doing quite well. But from what I've heard, other than what Anton said, it doesn't sound like he's getting many minutes. So
yeah. And obviously, Anton said he sort of impressed Sarri. He got him on, so got Sarri on side. But like, I mean, what do you think has gone wrong?
I just don't think he's been fit enough, really. I know Anton was saying that he's loved by Juventus fans. I think he is. It's the same old story with Ramsey, I suppose. He's picked up a few muscular injuries, and at 29, it's taken longer to sort of recover from that, really. It's a real shame, but as Dan was saying, I think a few people have sort of mentioned it, the fact that Juventus potentially saw that as an investment they could sell back to a team in Britain, basically, a team in England, because you get a player on a free transfer. Obviously, you are paying out a substantial amount in players' wages, but again, obviously, you're saving it in terms of the fee itself. But if you can sell them early on in their contract back to a team that's interested in England, you can make a lot of money on it, basically, and that seems to be Juventus' sort of angle at the moment. Whether Arsenal want him back, whether they can afford him, I'm not sure. I mean, I was sort of doing a few stories around, you know, when all the sort of contract stuff was going on, because he was offered a contract, quite a well-paid contract, and then it seemed like it was going to be accepted, and then obviously Raul and a couple of others behind the scenes basically withdrew that offer that was on the table, completely shocking Aaron Ramsey's agents, basically, and shocking Aaron Ramsey as well. There was a game at Fulham in early October last year. He scored a really good goal. I was in the press box that day, and Arsenal won 5-1. It was like a 20-odd pass move before he scored late on. It was one of those games when you look at the scoreline, you think Arsenal played brilliant. They didn't actually play that well, and Fulham were a really desperately poor side, certainly defensively. But also, 5-1, you think they're great. But I remember Aaron Ramsey being slightly. There was a goal celebration. It was just basically, you know, what more can I do? What do I need to do to stay at Arsenal? I remember there was a game at Sporting Lisbon about 3 weeks after that, and I asked him a couple of questions in the mix zone after Arsenal won 1-0 and Danny Welbeck scored. And it was basically like, what's going on? And he wanted to stay at Arsenal, but the offer was withdrawn. And obviously, I think we factored it in terms of what he's on. He's on more than £400,000 a week with all the sort of commercial deals that are going on and the signing on fee, and obviously his high wages and potentially lack of the tax he could have paid in England, basically. So if he's going to come back to a team in England, Arsenal, they're not going to get anywhere near that. So it's then down to Ramsey and his representative to go, well, do I take half that and just go back because I want to play regular football? But if he's injured anyway, I'd rather be sitting on £400,000 a week than £200,000 a week. But I suppose money's money at the end of the day, and it's just numbers when it gets to that level. But at the same time, to go on to your original question, Juventus do look like they're going to send him back to an English side at a massive markup, basically.
Yeah, and Serge, obviously, I know you watch a fair bit of Serie A. Do you think it's purely the fact? I mean, do you think that was always the intention, that they were going to sell him on immediately?
Yeah, I mean, because obviously, if you look at the Serie A setup, Juventus obviously came back from a sort of pretty disastrous sort of dropping down the leagues, coming back up. They put a lot of money into their squad now with wages instead of having Ronaldo, having Emre Can, having Ramsey, and like just the squad price has just kind of spiraled rapidly out of control. They managed to sell Emre Can on and make a £5 million profit on top of the wages they spent and the bonuses. Aaron Ramsey has already cost Juventus somewhere in the region of $4 million on the add-on sign-on fees, and obviously his $425,000 a week payments. And if they could
highest paid British player, isn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't they pay out
on wage
from Gareth Bale?
Yeah, but I think on wages, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's the highest
Didn't they
paid.
pay up front for Ronaldo as well, rather than doing instalments? They paid him the money straight away.
I think they've, and also obviously at the moment they're not even top at the moment. Inter Milan are top of the table at the Serie A, so I think they're looking at their wage structure, their monetary outgoings, and they think to themselves, we can't afford to keep this going as it is. The results aren't going the right way, and their squad is an ageing squad as well.
Yeah.
And they've got to consider that they've got 5 or 6 senior players over the age of 30 or almost 30. You know, Ronaldo's obviously right to the top end of that scale. You've got Aaron Ramsey, who's going to be 30 soon, and you've got to look at the squad future, because Napoli, Inter Milan have all got younger squads. So it's the right decision for Juventus to take him in at a bit of results, because he has played fairly well when he has played. He has made some differences. He has been a fairly effective attacking midfielder, and he is making the difference. But they need to make the money back from him. And I think this season they'll finish him off. I think it looks like United are lining up, was it, a 20 million bid for him? So I think it wouldn't surprise me for him to do that.
Do you think he'd, obviously with his Arsenal connections, think he'd go somewhere like United?
Yeah, I don't think why not.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be an issue with it.
I mean, look, he's a Welsh boy through and through. I mean, he obviously loves the club, but he's not going to put that against his career. His career is sort of, you know, he's in the best of years of his life in that respect. You know, when you hit 27 to 29 is when you're supposed to be firing the most. If he could go to Man United, you know, look, we loved when we had him. He was, unfortunately, plagued with injuries all the time. And it's a real shame to see him still play by the same problems that we had him with. I mean, I wish him all the best where he goes. I'm not going to slate him for going to United.
Yeah. I think there's a real difference from going from Arsenal to United or one of those clubs directly than going somewhere else and then going, it didn't work out.
That's
Arsenal don't want me, I'll go back.
That's why I'm so pleased for players like Alexis Sanchez, who did do the direct move, aren't performing well at all.
Well,
Oh, stop.
Absolutely.
Glenn, from his Ramsey's perspective, I mean, I don't know if you got the same impression. I think he was quite sort of excited about a new beginning at Juventus, and he wanted to sort of, you know, play alongside Ronaldo and all that. I'm not sure he really wants to move already. Do you?
No, I don't think he wanted to leave Arsenal.
No, exactly.
really.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a mixed kind of curacy feeling about Ramsey. Probably been a bit harsh with him. But you know, when you saw him that last game, was it Brighton at home?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
His reaction was, you know, you could never fault him for playing.
Never.
And that reaction I found quite moving. There were times throughout his career I think a bit harsh on him, moaning about his lack of form. Looking back, we've got a mutual friend, Ross George, who's a Cardiff Arsenal fan.
What about he likes Ramsey?
Yeah.
I mean, he used to wax lyrical about it, and I could see that. And then, you know, I still think the combination of things, the Sheffield United injury, phenomenal injury. Phenomenal injury to get over.
It's just Stoke.
Sorry. Red and white stripes. And in the fact that I didn't realise how much pain he was playing in that position.
Mm-hmm.
I never got on his back during the game, but I must admit I would go back to the pub. We all do that about certain players. But last season, you know, when he was in the middle, linking up with Ozil.
Speaking of, any
In case you
excuse.
don't know, Glenn loves Ozil. He just made a couple
For
of
no
comments.
reason.
But not even that, you know, and the FA Cup. I don't know. I sometimes feel myself as a bit harsh for Ramsey. And then you'd have these purple patches when he was super fit, box to box, doing the business. But again, he was always sort of playing with injury, and just as he seemed to get into the role. Fair enough with Man United. There's no way I would come back to Arsenal.
No, we couldn't afford the wages.
Yeah, exactly.
But the one thing that is really positive about him, he goes to every club, he has a real positivity about him. Like he's already learned Italian fairly well.
Yeah.
He's learned Italian much better than Gareth Bale's learned Spanish, for example.
Yeah.
Like,
And as Anton said, they were impressed by that, weren't they?
really-
He's learned the word golf though.
Yeah.
Gareth Bale.
But it's impressive to see him.
To actually be playing football again after that injury against Stoke, it's phenomenal.
Well, it would derail a lot of people's careers, wouldn't it? But you know, he was better than ever when he came back, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean that was disgusting. The mental strength he showed to come back from that Shawcross tackle, and I can't. We're not going to go into it now, obviously, because it's done many times. But at the same time, you know, when someone goes, "Oh, he's not that type of player," and you think he was reckless in that challenge at the very least.
Yeah.
And he could have put his career, he could have put a fellow professional career out the window, basically. And it was shocking. And the fact that he then angled the Stoke fans to boo Aaron Ramsey every time he went there, just because he wouldn't accept Shawcross to come and say sorry. Well, it's just hollow words. Why are you saying sorry?
Arsenal at that time were getting told, when that injury happened, we were getting told to toughen up.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop whinging.
Yeah.
It's just crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well, the same happened with people like Diaby and Eduardo, didn't it?
Yeah, we suffered a spate of those, didn't they? Yeah.
I mean, it was just reckless play, but yeah, that's a whole other story. So
it does seem to be an ever-present Arsenal problem, having constant injuries plague players' careers.
Yeah, but reckless injuries caused by reckless tackles.
Yeah,
stuff
non-entities using brute force to take out.
Well, that Dan Smith at Sunderland, when he broke Diaby's ankle, he ended up in the call centre. I really wish I found the number and I'd have seen
And for our next video.
That's a special coming up.
Yeah, what's his name? Martin Taylor, that was another one.
I don't want to call them out, but I do.
Yeah. Deservedly so.
Okay.
I just don't have any trouble. He's not that kind of player.
I hate that
He's that kind of player.
Because he's done it, exactly, yeah.
Anyway,
but let's talk, his position. Like, at Juve, he's been played purely as an attacking midfielder, hasn't he? It's been very attack-focused. I think it took a long time for Arsenal to sort of figure out what his actual position was, didn't it?
I think his problem at Arsenal was that Wenger obviously liked to play with the 4-2-3-1 quite a lot of the time when Ramsey was there. So you've got the two holding midfielders and the attacking midfielder. But I never really thought it was either. I thought it was a central midfielder, someone who could, go back and forward and do a lot of the jobs. Obviously, he had Ozil for competition if he wanted to play a bit further forward.
They worked together.
Yeah, they did. They did under Emery. He kind of got away for them to work together. But I kind of felt that there was never really a position and a formation that suited him. I think he's better as a natural central midfielder rather than being purely attacking or purely defensive.
Yeah.
And then there was times when he was shuffled out wide as well under Wenger, wasn't they? He played left or right, which was a bit of a weird move. He still did quite well there, but I just don't think he ever kind of found his natural position. Yeah,
I think you made a really good point there. Yeah, I think Ramsey would have flourished in a straight 4-4-2, in a sort of 80s reference, but like a Brian Robson, where you're going back and forth,
driving,
You're defensively sound, you're defensively proficient, but you've also got enough flair to drive forward as well. I'm not saying you're at number 10, but at the same time, you've got a good energy, you've got good sort of machinery to get you up and down the pitch basically. And that season he got 19 goals.
16 goals, I think.
16 was it, and he got most of them before Christmas. He was actually flying.
I think he was.
That 9-month period, wasn't it?
It wasn't. Yeah, it was 6 months.
I always think he was better without the ball as well. Personally, arriving late in the box, they got in the end.
Yeah, he did go similar.
I don't personally think he was technically as good as other midfielders we've had, but I think his impact, arriving late in the box, scoring important goals, made him stand out for the
intelligent
rest,
footballer rather than technical.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's harder to pull yourself back and then make the run than just make the run straight away and expect the ball in the middle. Obviously, 2014 he won the cup. There was that game. 2015, and obviously 17 got another winner as well. And it was what a game!
Last season Spurs.
Yeah, I love that.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
That was. I was just
1-1.
Aaron had been a bit harsh.
I was in the press box. I was in the press box that day, and his goal celebration was brilliant. Absolutely right, and he was just basically saying, "Wembley's mine." Yeah, exactly. And it was just like shutting up 70,000-80,000 Spurs fans. I loved it. That shows how much he cared. And I've always said as well that he did care. There's a way to leave Arsenal. There's a right way and a wrong way. And he cried on the pitch. That was absolutely genuine. Dave Rocos cried when George Graham sold it to Leeds because he didn't think his knee was up to it. Paul Merson sat in his car and cried when he left as well. And then you get Ashley Cole who couldn't wait to go to Chelsea, basically. Mark of the man for me, a mark of an Arsenal man, is how you act when you're sold or you're going to leave the club. And whether it's your decision or someone else's decision. Aaron Ramsey cried. For me, that's good enough.
And there's nothing sort of that makes a fan feel more sort of pride in their club than seeing that,
absolutely,
isn't it?
For me,
I remember being at that game and they were like doing interviews, I think Sky Sports or whatever, and it was just down in front of the press box. And like we'd done the press or whatever. You were there as well. I just remember going back up and I was just standing there watching him and just felt so surreal that he was leaving. It didn't. There's some players that you look at and you think like they're going to be here forever. And he was one of them. And it was just this moment of like he's actually going to go and he's not going to be here next season. It's just going to be like he's been there for a decade basically. And it was just a weird scenario.
For me, he was the most influential player in the 21st century.
I agree.
If we're talking our post-Invincibles, let me clarify that.
The past decade,
post 2006, I should say. Was the Champions League one. He was the most influential.
Actually, it's quite an interesting sort of caveat. I've had this debate with so many friends. Like,
Yeah, just us four. Just us four, sir.
Yeah, I had this debate with you guys so many times. Anyway,
Do they may like her as well?
Big up the
nobody's going to get that
cycling
reference. Yeah. Anyway, that Ramsey is the closest thing that Arsenal have had to a club legend in about
is a club
15 years.
legend.
Do you think he
He's won
goes-
3 FA Cups.
To score two
Single-handedly been the one to do
cup-winning
it.
final goals,
Yeah.
like he did.
Yeah, in a sort of relatively, sort of
Tumultuous
drought era.
period.
Yeah, tumultuous
There's
period.
points when he's absolutely carried us as well. Right?
Yeah.
He's just scored so many important goals, and he's given his
he's-
all, and you can't ask more than that from some
No one
players.
dislikes
so.
him. There's not a single player that person I've met that doesn't go have a fond memory of him.
I think there was a season or two when he was getting a lot of stick.
He was.
But what I think,
Brush over that.
yeah, absolutely. And but to come out the other side, to have that massive reception at the end, to show genuine tears of joy, means he got through that as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Glenn, we used to have a lot of discussions about Aaron Ramsey, and you weren't his biggest fan for a long time.
No, but like I said, I always say the conversation in the pub rather than shouting him down.
Of course.
Yeah.
But he did get a lot of that. He got a lot of grief.
But he dealt with it so well and properly, didn't he?
Sections of hands to F4
No.
Yeah.
He was.
Wonder who that was aimed at.
But he's also a sufferer of. he suffered from the sort of Wenger's analysis paralysis. He had so many midfielders to choose from. It was so difficult to really get him in.
Analysis paralysis.
When you've got such a wide selection in front of you and you can't, you just struggle to choose. And at that time, we had so many good players playing in the middle.
I'm going to use that in a story, analysis paralysis. I like that.
So
I've never heard that.
He suffered from it, and it's a real shame because he was surrounded by great players like your Cazolas, like your, peak Ozils, which, I'm sure Glenn can get.
That week in 2013.
Like came against Ludogorets.
When he was still at Real Madrid.
Toby next.
When you saw the podcast title from last week, what did you think?
I watched it. I watched 10 minutes of it.
That's high praise. He's on the panel and he turns on. What chance have we got with anyone
I'll
else?
tell you this now. I was going to save this for later. But if I'd have had a smartphone,
Yes.
I would have unsubscribed and left comments under there going, what a pile of bollocks. I can't believe it's
Honestly.
a podcast that I work on. I was sat at home watching it going,
With friends like that, who needs enemies?
to say I wasn't in a state of agitation.
Okay, well, go on then. How would you defend Ozil in terms of this season then?
Well,
Podcast been derailed by
in
Ozil.
terms of this season, right, I will quote you all. You all went to Anfield, didn't you?
Yes.
I got a text from him saying, why did they take
Yeah,
Ozil?
absolutely. Yeah.
Right, okay.
But ultimately, it was against Liverpool's second string.
Third.
Third string,
Let's be honest.
Yeah, but
Harvey Elliott was on the pitch.
Liverpool's under 14s.
command a game at
He
Anfield.
did. And Emery should never take him off after that. I completely agree with that. But ultimately, if he'd have done that in August for the 3-1, I'd have been like, yeah. But he didn't. That's the difference.
Doing it in a 5-5 against Liverpool's under 15.
in the League Cup.
Like it. Look, forget. Remember for a second. That man's been in and out of the team under him. The club are trying.
Well, what about now then? Let's talk about now then. Why isn't he?
Also, I'm intrigued what quotes you picked up from the
Right,
further.
Did you
He
listen?
switched off before we did that,
Did you
didn't
listen to the stats about his lack of assists
I've
away
seen
from
it,
home,
I've seen
all
the
that?
other stats. There's stats for
Oh, Chance!
It's
All the
too
notes are
early
coming
for
out
Glenn
early.
No, this is just he's just got one page on Ozil.
stats. I've just had
Do you have a picture of Ozil in your wallet? Like your partner, your kids, and Ozil.
No, I've got a picture of you saying this man must die.
Oh, he's printed it out. You had a lot of time at lunch today.
I'm
Then.
scrolling down.
We know what that
I'm not
means.
doing this yet. There's just one stat.
I've just read the first line
We're
of
not
that.
talking about the Great Storm yet.
No. I have some Ozil. Footnote, utterly ludicrous. Yes.
Stay tuned.
Utterly ludicrous.
I had his stats.
Ludicrous.
I had his stats. I wiped them out.
I like the way you spelled Shamak with an S.
In capital
What
letters.
else begins with S? His stats for a 2-year period were unbelievable. Okay?
Stats fans.
Well, you want it both ways up. He's not doing this.
Why is he not playing well now? in January 2020? Why is he not playing well under a new manager who's trying to empower him to play at the best he can?
Has he played badly under Arteta?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Has he played well under Arteta?
No.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean,
He's run around more, but
Yeah.
Right, that's one accusation we can dispense with then.
What, so he hasn't
Run
run
around
around
enough.
don't hit my mic.
Okay, but no one played well against Burnley.
No, yeah.
I don't know. Mustafi was around of the match.
I just think
performances.
the argument is that he's the big player in Arsenal's dressing room, and it's down to him to change.
He's the
games
highest paid player,
Yeah,
and he can do anything.
I don't think.
It's not getting his money now.
Oh, yeah.
Thing just, I think is irrelevant.
But regardless,
Why is it-
reputation-wise, he's a World Cup winner.
Has
The
he
rest
not-
of it.
Has he had a good game
Yeah,
under
yeah.
Arteta? Yes, he has.
United.
Yeah. What other game?
But everyone played well against United.
Played well against Chelsea.
Yes, because also did you not
No, we
understand?
didn't. He got taken off after the hour, and the game changed
Yeah, we lost.
at Chelsea. At Chelsea or at home to
Oh, no,
Chelsea.
home to Chelsea.
Didn't play well.
The 2-2 in Stamford Bridge.
But just to get the main point that we discussed from that video was what should happen in the summer. How should he fit into the team?
what
Is
would
we
you
asked.
do?
So let's just get your
Yeah.
take
Let me
on
go
that.
back to my main point being, you just dismissed him as a footnote in Arsenal history.
Yes, he will be.
Mesut Ozil will be a lot of things. He will not be a footnote.
Why won't he be a footnote?
Surely
Because
Ramsey's a bigger
the fact
legend than
that we
Ozil.
talk about him all the time.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. We talk about Eddie McGoldrick. That means he's an
He's a
Arsenal
great-
legend.
We talk a lot about Squillaci as well, and Francis Jeffers.
Not just being flippant.
As you saying Ozil would be an Arsenal legend, he'll be
I didn't
considered.
say that.
Okay.
I said he wouldn't be a footnote.
Okay.
There's a difference.
How much more of a footnote from
You're
legend
just
to
being
footnote?
disingenuous.
Good,
I've always struggled with that. So, legend footnote, where is he there then? Is he halfway there?
And I know you're going to say, oh, it was only against Ludogorets. But that goal
Great
was,
goal.
Oh, it was only against Ludogorets.
It was a good goal. It was a good goal. We
That
got,
goal is Bergkamp's.
But Bergkamp won the league with Arsenal by the strength of his character, the strength of his performances as well.
Right, okay, one thing is, before we signed over, everyone knows we were getting a fee taken out because we're not winning trophies. Is that man not won trophies?
How much did he contribute?
What did he do?
I think Ramsey contributed more than Ozil did to those trophies.
Well, he was part of that team, wasn't he?
So was Kim Kallstrom.
Kim Kallstrom got that all-important penalty to take us through for the semis to the final.
We're not saying he's not talented.
I'm not saying
we want him to play well.
I'm not saying go onto YouTube and look at all his skills.
Giroud would look good if you did a round-up with his goal.
Was it Yaya Sanogo goals and tricks?
It'd just be that scorpion kick on repeat, wouldn't it?
You've got short memories, but
I want him to do well, but he's not.
I mean, all of us
I'll tell you what.
want him to perform as well as he can because we want him to be a great player. That we can
he will
lump.
be in that team until the end of the season.
Yeah.
And then what would you do? What would you do with him?
Is he staying or is he going?
I would trust in what Arteta thinks.
Do you think Arteta can get the best out of him? Do you think in a couple? Can he see out his contract, and by the end of that contract, Arteta can get him playing as we know he's capable
I
of
think
playing?
probably Arteta. It depends what sort of backing he's given, what the board are thinking about where O's should go. You know, let's not forget you're talking about a bloke. Okay, at the start of the season, a gangster threatened to kill his wife and kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'd
And
never
the
make
entire
it out of
club,
that, and I'm sure it affects him.
And I'm talking
Good luck
about
to him.
the board and the management wanting him out. I mean, come on.
So I've got a hypothetical for you then.
Yeah.
If you could do a straight swap, Ozil for Ramsey now with Juventus, would you?
No.
No, because those are fit.
Yeah.
But I would take a third of the season playing Ramsey over a full season.
I'd say
Ozil.
no.
That's
I'd
actually
take Ramsey over Ozil.
I'd say no because I don't want either of them at this
That's a
point.
good point.
I think
I don't want either of them.
Because over the last
But
few
if you had to
seasons,
choose one or the other, do you reckon?
I'd say if it was one or the other, I'd take Ramsey. But I think to move on, plan for the future, I think better off without the both of them.
That's probably very true. I don't know. But, I do think people get
Dan's
very
dossier's
belligerent about
fair.
him. He makes the simple things look even easier. He makes the difficult things look easier.
Well, like walking off for a substitute.
Yeah.
Well, okay, fine.
Well, I mean,
Why
to
doesn't
Serge,
he influence games more?
to Serge's point, it's what to compare.
He hasn't really.
What has he done this season?
But to compare him to Ramsey, what was Ozil rarely in the last few years has had runs of games where he's influenced. Ramsey always has a spell in the season where he's very effective.
I agree with that. I still think he puts in
Yeah, he
shit.
just has the odd game though, doesn't he?
Because I saw a comment from one of our
I
one of
think
our
he's playing
viewers.
off tier as well. You know, I'm critical. There are times
Yeah, we
when
know.
Ozil drops his shoulder,
Yeah.
and I think he's going to shoot, and he passes. So I think
Well, that's
he's
a constant
playing,
problem
I think
for
he's
Arsenal.
playing with that bit of confidence.
But there's a
But why though? Because he's got a manager who wants to believe in him.
yeah.
So why is there a lack of confidence? Is it it's something a flaw in his psychological
I
makeup?
don't know, but I just don't understand this constant pitch-up. I could list you so many players this season who have been worse.
All right, we've had our Ozil chat. We've got Glenn's opinion on Ozil.
Some of his opinion.
Some of, yeah. I'm sure we'll talk for many hours after this podcast is finished more on Ozil.
Thankfully, you couldn't say the rest of it on camera. There aren't enough beeps.
But let's move on to, I thought it'd be quite interesting to go over a sort of half-season review of Nicolas Pepe's first 6 months or whatever it is at Arsenal. Obviously, record signing, a lot of pressure on him. Has he delivered?
No, but I thought it was always going to take a bit of time for him to
Yep.
deliver, basically. I mean, you look at a lot of players who come to the Premier League who haven't had the experience, necessarily don't speak the language, stuff like that, who take that bit of time to adapt. I don't think Sanchez was that great in his first season, and then, obviously he went on to do really well. So I think Pepe might be something along the same lines. Hopefully he'll do as well as Sanchez did. But I think, next season will be time to judge him. Let Arteta have a bit of work with him. He's renowned for working wonders with wingers. You look at people like Raheem Sterling, Leroy Sané when he was at Manchester City. They credited their development a lot to Arteta and the work he did with them. So hopefully he can do something similar with Pepe. So I think judge him on next season. I think he's done well in little spurts. I mean, did really well at West Ham. Standard Liège, obviously at home. Or was it Kamara? Sorry, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, United at home. He's had some decent performances, but he just needs to do it more consistently.
Yeah,
I think next season will be the time.
Yeah, his season's sort of gone. There was promising signs early on, as obviously everyone references running past Virgil van Dijk. He looked quite sprightly in the Liverpool game.
Sprightly?
That's what came to my head.
You've been using Layth thesaurus. Layth football truisms.
And then he had sort of a real confidence dip in the middle of the season. There was that Sheffield United game where he missed that sitter, didn't he? He looked, completely shot for confidence. Everyone was very worried. And then there was obviously, as you said, the Standard Liège game, and he sort of.
There's Kamara, sorry.
Kamara, yeah. And he's come back. Do you think he's come back? Has he improved since then?
Well, I think obviously the change of manager has helped change his position in the team. I mean, the entire team before, every player was kind of head down, a little bit sort of morose. I think the injection of enthusiasm in the squad has helped his, ability improve a bit, as it were. So I think, coming from Ligue 1, which is, a big league.
You almost said Farmers League, didn't you?
But, to go to the Premier League,
League,
to go straight into an Arsenal side that would sort of, devoid of confidence, devoid of real joy, it's going to be quite a difficult job because, it's not an easy thing to go from the happy heights of Ligue 1, sort of top goal scoring, sort of free kick specialist, penalty specialist, to go to an Arsenal side which were really devoid of enthusiasm, with a manager like Emery who was changing formation every other week, didn't really know how to utilise his players in the best position. It was bound to be a tough start for him. I think, we all said, Arteta's wiping the slate clean. I think you've got to take this second half of the season as kind of a clean slate for Pepe to really push on from.
The one criticism I have with him, I think he's a little bit one-dimensional. I think every time I see him, I know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to get the ball on the right-hand side and cut him with his left foot. I don't think.
Well,
I don't think he goes down the outside enough, basically.
Iron Robin made a career.
Have you heard of Iron Robin?
Have you heard of Iron Robin?
Don't play him on that level, yeah.
On the left.
Bobby Perez did that. He did that so long, cutting in and.
Yeah, but Perez could go down the outside. I don't think Pepe's done it enough.
He took 6 months to settle.
Pepe is a player
Exactly,
Pepe relies on the team around him performing to the best of their abilities. If the team around him aren't performing, then he can't show his magic as well, because he can't get down those bombing runs. He can't cut in. If he cuts in and there's no one there, what's he supposed to do with it? He needs the rest of the team to really perform. Hence why players like Lacazette performing sort of not in their best is affecting his performances, because he hasn't got another striker there, which is what Lacazette should be doing to really make him look like he's doing the crosses as well as he could.
Yeah. It's,
So-
it's so difficult when you join a club from another country, another culture, another league, whatever, to settle in a team, to find your best sort of position, to find your level, to get used to all the players, different teams. It's so many factors that people don't see. They just see the 90 minutes every week. And on top of that, playing in a really struggling side. Obviously, we were at Sheffield United, and it was he could have scored and he didn't. He fluffed a chance, but that performance was so disjointed from the Arsenal
So
team.
the entire squad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you can't pin down his poor performance on just him.
Yeah, and he needs time to sell. And I think that Victoria game, the 3-2 at the Emirates, when he scored those two late joyous free kicks, that was brilliant. And that's the level he should be at in terms of dead ball situations. And maybe he should be given a bit more responsibility in terms of dead ball. Not even so much just the free kicks from outside the box, maybe whipping crosses in, or a deep sort of
I think
free kick into the box or something. Maybe he needs to step, but maybe he's not that sort of character. But we're still getting to know him. Obviously, a new manager now. His teammates still getting to know him. He just needs time, and hopefully he'll flourish.
This international break is going to be so important for him, isn't it?
What, in terms of going to Dubai, the training, the mid-season
we've
break?
seen a few videos of the chaps out there. Obviously, David Luiz was having a lot of fun with them all, and he included Pepe in there. Like they seem to be getting on as a group really well. So as a unit, they're melding really well. They're getting along together really well. I think that's so important for Pepe to really get back into sort of his stride. Obviously, he was in Ligue 1 for quite a long time with a cohesive unit he was really used to. He knew everything. Like when we interviewed Lee Dixon, he said every time he was somewhere, he knew exactly where his partners were. Yeah. I mean, Pepe is still learning that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to benefit everyone, and this is almost a mini pre-season for Arteta now to go right. This is what I want, lads. I've got 6, 7, 8 days with you. I'm going to mould you into what I want. You're going to really understand my ethos, and we can kick on from there, basically. Yeah. Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So long as they're working hard on the pitch,
I think
doesn't matter what you do off it, basically.
It makes a lot of sense, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you take a player like Pepe, who's coming out the cold, if he's obviously not very fluent in English at the moment. He's still learning the language, and his wife's obviously there, so he wants to get the entire sort of everyone's family to get involved and know each other.
And we all say Arsenal family and stuff. So,
I think it's important.
You could argue it's a slight distraction, but on the other hand, if the players are happy and there's no falling out of nightclubs, I don't think you can do that in Dubai anywhere, really. But it was also good, talking about the training pitches, it was also good to see Kieran Tiernan back as well. With his massive thighs as well.
Layth does love a massive thighs.
He's well versed in massive thighs.
I want a defender who looks like a defender, basically. Kieran Tiernan does.
Is that your order at Nando's? I want some massive thighs, please.
Yeah, all the time, seriously. Yeah.
I'm quite disappointed he didn't go the other way, though. So you know when it's really cold, he comes out in the short sleeves and the shorts. I want him to go to Dubai, snooze, cut the jumpers, jogging bottoms.
Well,
let me down, Kieran.
The funniest group I've seen together in Dubai in the pictures is Torreira, Martinelli, and Martinez. They seem to be sort of trucking around together.
Players,
Did you see the thing of? Did you see the photo of Pablo Mari as well?
Yeah.
So Torreira's trying to do like some chin-ups on a bar, and he's too short, and Mari just grabs him around the waist and lifts him onto the bar.
So there seems to be a lot of
bonding,
bonding, which is good. I think that can only be better for Pepe's sort of Arsenal career, because obviously record signing, we're expecting a long-term career out of him, so we want him for.
He's only 24 as well. You got to remember that.
72 million. Shouldn't he be doing more than that?
It takes a while to settle in.
Yes, he's had 6 months. How many years has Ozil had?
Let's not do that.
Let's not go back there.
I think that this season is a good introductory season. I think having 2 different managers, that's going to spin your head as it is. Any 3 managers, that's going to spin your head. So I think the opportunity to settle down with a squad, really get to know their skills, their abilities, see how it goes. And ultimately, if you look at the team from a wider view, if we had a better defence and didn't concede as many goals, then we wouldn't be focusing on his lack of attacking as much, because it would be like a bit more solid.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously Lacazette not scoring as well.
There's a lot of moving parts here that we have to take into consideration.
One of the things I really like about Pepe is, when he gets the ball, he always looks like he's going to make something happen. He's direct, and he gets his head down, and he goes, and he runs. I love a player like that. Get you off your seat, just runs at defenders. I think that's the kind of player Arsenal need, and have lacked for a while possibly.
But it has
Just-
to be intelligent runs as well. They can't just
Well,
go, I'm going to run
obviously,
at you 'cause I'm
yeah.
fast or
Well,
I'm
he's
a
still-
bit tricky.
Are you?
I want to see more tricks. I want to see efficient tricks. Yeah, I'm really fast. As you can tell by my
That's why you call the
build,
flying
but-
potato.
No, I tell you, if we had a cohesive unit, which we're starting to get under Arteta now, and it looks a lot more cohesive together, then all we can see is positive things happening with the squad we've got.
Yeah.
Getting Bellerin back.
Yeah.
Get Tierney back. We all know Tierney's going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to be good. We'll be looking at different teams.
It's a totally different team.
I've got no worries about that.
Yeah.
That is good.
Have you thought about him? So, what's your opinion so far?
He's raw. But like you say, he's coming to a bit of a tumultuous time. He didn't really know what his role was. I think it's like anything. You start a new job, you're going to your rights with you, right? Would you like a cup of tea? 10 months later,
I'm always told with names.
But no,
I never remember anyone's name.
What I'm saying
Well,
is,
mate Miles.
Dave.
what I'm saying is, there've been a few occasions this year where we've had sort of like 2-on-1 or 3 against 2. Pepe has chosen to make a slightly awkward pass, where maybe he should have just ducked to and bullied it in. I think next season he wants to more of that.
I think that kind of thing about playing the wrong. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think the playing the wrong pass thing is maybe him feeling a bit of the pressure of I need to do well, the price tag, whatever, and he's like, I've got to do something to impress him. Maybe try and what I describe as the Hollywood pass rather than the simple pass.
It's like Henri came to us, and we started putting it at Barn Dorman, and then white boots, playing out like that. And then suddenly he just got this killer instinct, and that's when he became a great player. I'm going for goal.
Speedy French forwards, who seems to be quite good at them.
I'm not equating him with Pepe. I think Pepe will rise.
So we're
talking about Henri. I remember his debut in Leicester City in August '99, and he had a chance. I can't remember.
Do you remember your seat row and level was?
I do actually. Yeah,
and the attendance to the exact number.
yeah.
It was a balmy 12 degrees.
But I can't remember he started. He came on a soap, but he had a late chance. And he snatched it, and everyone was like, "We still supported him obviously because there was no social media back then." But and it was a hybrid. But at the same time, he didn't score, and you're like, "Okay, well, this lad's raw, basically." People just need time. Everyone needs time just to settle. It's exceptional when you get a player who comes in, slots it immediately, and just goes bang.
Which is Albania, wasn't it?
Yeah. So again.
Little pigeon feet, isn't it?
The old cartoon running on the spot. What was it? Running Wile E. Coyote.
I literally thought I was watching a cartoon. That's
I had
unbelievable.
no idea what was going on there.
The ankle's coming down the team.
I don't know who's going to edit this, but hopefully over that you just put the Benny Hill music.
Fred Flintstone.
People
I didn't realise we've got the best stats for scoring forwards.
Which is mental.
Yeah, that is weird.
Because I never think of us as a corner team.
Yeah. What a bad league.
When you think of corner teams, you think of like classic West Broms with Dawson.
Yeah.
You think of you think of Andy Carroll just standing there waiting for a ball to hit him in the head, or Peter Crouch standing waiting for a ball to hit him in the head. You think of Arsenal being wingers, runners, passes.
If you watch back that United game when Socrates scored from the corner, you watch it back, as soon as they celebrate, they all turn around and they point to Pepe.
Yeah.
Like he's clearly kind of engaged. He's
It's
really part of the squad and they're enjoying what he's doing.
It could be something they've worked on in training. They've gone, well done, basically as well. But you're right.
I think
good to see.
there's a lot of positive
They
sides.
come in low, don't they?
From Pepe, it's an understanding that he's come from Liga to the Premier League, which is one of the hardest out of the top
Uber
6
Eats league
leagues
as well.
Yeah,
You know it's a great league when it's sponsored by Uber Eats.
Is it really?
Yeah. The second division is sponsored by Domino's.
Their opening game, their opening game was the match ball was delivered on an Uber Eats remote controlled car. So he's gone from the height of that to the Premier League. So
The sponsorless Premier League.
the sponsor. So there's a difference in level that he's obviously got to really get his head around.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying, but if we've got any, PSG or Lyon or Marseille or Monaco fans, I'm not saying it's a terrible league, but saying it's just not quite the Premier League.
But other food outlet options are available.
The Deliveroo Premier League.
is easily the best league in the world.
This season.
Still,
You watch a lot of Serie A. I mean, what's that in comparison to Premier League?
it's very different. Very different style wise. It's a lot more defensively focused. There's a lot older squads. there's a lot more derbies in that league. A lot more derbies. There's a lot more sort of internal sort of hatred amongst the teams. Sort of, the Lazio Roma derby. You got the Milan Inter, and you got obviously Juve versus everyone.
Yeah.
No one likes Juve.
The one thing.
I love you,
The one thing I do really like about Liga is that Liga might be the only thing that British people pronounce that should be pronounced, rather than being like, oh, I've gone to Majorca for my holiday.
Yeah.
Liga.
But yeah, just to sort of say about that, I mean, the Bundesliga looks like it's shaping up to be quite interesting.
Really
Four-horse title
It
race.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah.
Serge doesn't rate the Bundesliga, so we're not going to listen to his opinion on
all I'm
that.
saying is
the
the-
Bundesliga is great.
The Bundesliga is going to be great eventually, but it's still got 16 teams that aren't competing. I mean, look, you got Hertha Berlin just came in as the first Which
is great, it's a great story,
obviously,
yeah.
obviously apart from Union Berlin and Dresden, those are the two other It's a league that's growing, but ultimately the Premier League is the best league. It's take a while for players to get used to it. Look, if you look at the Super Bowl, the biggest event of American football, 150 million viewers
Don't get me
globally.
started.
United Liverpool 700 million at minimum, but 1.2
Yeah, well,
billion
I'm
in
saying it's a massive league,
It's
but
a
I don't know
huge
if it's the
league.
highest quality league.
It's definitely high quality league.
I don't know. Obviously, the most entertaining, but I don't
I mean, look,
know.
I also watch a lot of the Premier Liga as well, the Portuguese
Yeah,
league.
yeah.
But it's not a high quality league.
No, but I suppose there's always been no traditional three teams.
Four.
Well, Boa Vista.
Braga.
No,
Braga,
Braga's
there you
your
go.
team, yeah. Well, no, Boa Vista did win the league and they went bankrupt or something, didn't they? After?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So,
Arsenal.
Enough of our podcast of Portuguese.
So you're satisfied with Pepe and you're happy with his progress, but there's more to come, essentially. Good stuff. So,
Is that the first time in Gooner Fanzine TV podcast history we've all agreed on something?
madness.
Emre was awful.
Regardless, great debate. So obviously Arsenal have got a fairly nice run of games coming up. Arteta's just had a few days to really work with the players in this winter break. So now, do you think this run of games is finally time to turn those draws into wins and progress under Arteta?
It has to be. I mean, we've had so many draws, like snatched from the jaws of victory.
Do you think it's a kind of a crucial period actually to get going?
Hugely for us. I
Yeah,
mean, this run of
yeah.
games that's what's going to influence not just obviously the league position, but I think the most important thing is actually team morale and team positivity. Because what we need is them firing all cylinders in the Europa League and the FA Cup. If we want to get some silverware, we want to try and turn Europa League to Champions League. And the best way of doing that isn't going to be Champions League; it's going to be by winning the Europa League.
Yeah.
And obviously, we need to right the wrong of what happened against in Chelsea in Baku. We need to make that. We need to make that a win.
Wow.
Because we need to really sort of pile over what happened with Emery and go, this is what Arteta can do.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were in the semi-finals against Atletico Madrid, obviously the final last year. Let's go one better and win it, yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
And on Arsenal's form, I mean, you look at sort of the Newcastle and Everton game, you'd think those are draws really again, because Newcastle are a tough team to beat at the minute. And Everton are a really tough team to beat. Really tough.
Well,
so
What's the latest with Walcott's injury, just out of interest?
He scored the week.
He got
injured after.
and he got an assist. They're still being seen too.
No, it's not.
But I did see the stats since Ancelotti's come in.
Well, they've gone from relegation zone to
since he's
top
come in. If you
10.
take the table purely from when he was appointed upwards, they would sit second.
Yeah, the thing is, they
Whilst
couldn't have done
Arteta-
anything.
Merseyside dominance.
Wow.
Since Arteta came
Yeah.
in, he's still 10th.
Yeah, but I mean, they couldn't have done any worse before. They were dreadful.
No,
That 0-0
but
against
that's how incredible
Arsenal.
is that his coming in has shown a massive influence of just positivity, which is what Arteta's done.
Which is great, and I like Ancelotti. But I
We
remember
just-
watching that cup game against Liverpool. They were dreadful. They were absolutely dreadful. And that was only like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So yeah, they're temperate with stats and
I mean,
the reality on the
and the
pitch.
games-
But
the
yeah,
games-
hopefully they'll be a tough side, but we should be beating them.
But the
at home.
games we got coming up are the games that really are going to show a lot of sort of keen interest, especially post Dubai, where the players are going to be sort of a bit relaxed, a bit more fit.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the picture of Martinelli. He's gone from a shrimpy Toby-like teenager to an absolute muscle-bound beast. Like, he's incredible. Like Layth, yeah. I mean, look at the size of them guns. Bloody
If
Nora.
the only thing you take from this podcast is Toby is like a shrimp, fair enough.
Yeah, Job and SpongeBob, mate.
He's a cyclist. All his muscles are in his legs, not his arms.
Yeah, you were saying about thick thighs on Tierney. I'll rival him.
So, are we having Glenn's notes? I've been waiting weeks for Glenn's notes.
It's been way too long.
Honestly,
I feel
yeah.
deprived of Glenn's notes.
I haven't got many. Layth did mention something about the store. What's the storm called?
Kira.
Kiara.
It's Kira.
Tiara.
It's Irish Kira.
In the old days, we never gave storms names.
The great storm of insert number.
They were just
Great
storms.
storm. There was an amazing
87,
storm.
yeah, doing
87.
that,
What, Michael Fish?
The night
Yeah,
The Michael
yeah,
Fish
I
storm.
remember
Can I just
that.
say, the night of my birthday.
Was it?
Oh, was it?
Oh.
Michael
Adorable.
Fish. There won't be anything tonight.
Remember
Massive
that there was
storm.
trees everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
15
Uprooted.
million trees.
Was it really? Blimey, yeah.
Jeez.
There were quite a lot of fatalities. It was my birthday. I had loads of
He
trees.
always brings the mood down.
All I will say is,
Awful.
everyone's getting exercise about this storm. Essentially a shower. All I can say is,
It's a bit like every morning.
Glenn has seen it all.
Storms are better in my day.
Those were better in the 80s.
But when I was a lad,
However, lads, storms are proper storms.
storms were better in the 80s.
Are you Captain Ahab? I've seen storms. I've lived through
Rain
storms.
so hard it makes your head bleed. Some sort of hand would be in order.
Like football, storms were better in the 80s. Everyone's getting wound up about it.
please tell me there's more to your notes than just storms.
I love this dead air.
Start running out of names, start calling them off the rack. What, Hurricane Stormzy? I don't know.
They're done alphabetically.
Hurricane M&M.
I just wanted to mention the Newcastle game. Right, this was in my 40 years before the storm days.
Back when Herbert Chapman was manager.
Pre-Great Storm.
Yeah, everyone was old. And,
Back in the
we've been
Woolwich
Newcastle
Arsenal days.
3.
Yeah, 76 then, wasn't it?
76,
Sorry, yeah.
4th December, I was 13 years old. Mountney got a hat-trick. I think 15,000 Geordies came down and filled the clock then. Just loaded down Mountney. I remember I was out there getting autographs and that, and they were all coming in. All very good mates, and all aren't they? All suit, that was a true.
I thought they were Newcastle.
That was a fantastic accent.
There you go.
Oh,
There you
that
go.
was good. That was better than your attempt at accents. Hot kettle, mate.
I just looked at the
I'll
team.
see.
Right. Goalkeeper Jimmy River.
Yeah,
Pat
good
Rice,
player of
Sammy
the season.
Nelson. David O'Leary played in that game.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Made his debut against Burnley in August 75.
Pat Howard, he was sort of like a lump at the time for the club. Geordie Armstrong.
Legend.
God bless
Legend.
Julian
Alan
Armstrong.
Ball, Liam Brady, Trevor Ross, Malcolm McDonald, and Frank Stapleton. I know you don't like. And
Yeah.
that was one of the formative games of my years.
Cool.
I was 13 years old. Went down, incredible, amazing crowd, quite across the pitch, free Christmas and all that.
5-3, wasn't it? Yeah.
5-3.
Yeah.
And also the 4-all.
Yeah, you was at there. I didn't actually do the 4.
I was at that. I was there with Nigel.
Some of
and
our
Mark
friends
and that.
didn't make the early goals, did they? Because it's such a walk up to the top of the island.
They didn't make it. The other thing was, half time, we were 4-0 up. Nigel went, don't get 1 beer, get 2 beers. In we brought this up. Kevin went, what about that? History speaks for itself.
Honestly, yeah.
Was anyone there for the 7-3 at the Emirates?
Yeah, I was there. I took my daughter there actually. Yeah, I was going to go for that. Yeah, it was just a bonkers game. Just neither team could defend basically.
Or cared.
Or
Just
cared.
cracked
Yeah,
Didn't Walcott score a hat trick?
yeah, it was like, we're going to score. You're going to score. We're going to score.
You sound like you're
know.
surprised by that. Walker,
Yeah.
great striker.
Yeah.
Great manager, isn't
What else have we got? What else have
I
we
think
got?
they're pretty minimal this week. I'm a bit annoyed about the FA Cup being midweek.
Yeah.
Because the sanctity of the FA Cup, when I was growing up as a kid, people would go as kids and stuff, and I think sort of like Swindon fans around there. Ideal opportunity for kids to go. How many kids are going to go?
Well,
It's a
I mean,
night-
to be
it's a
fair, it's
nightmare.
Portsmouth away, though, isn't it? If it was at the Emirates, you know.
Yeah, but how many courses?
Yeah, okay, fair point.
It's a dreadful thing having weekday fixtures.
I'm excited to go to Fratton Park that I've never been before.
It's a good ground.
I suggest
Yeah,
you go to
good
the
ground.
toilet before you go to the ground.
I'm in the press box, mate. I get my own toilet.
Yeah, but I did the press box for the Checker
That's not
Trade
fair
last
on the
season.
fans beneath, though.
It's right at the top of the old stand, and it's a decent view. Yeah, it's a decent ground, but yeah, it's proper old
Cracking
school.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
Do you know if that
Portsmouth
bloke,
is a proper club.
that bloke with the bell can get lost as well?
Do you know what he sells? Books, second-hand books in Petersfield. So you look at him, you go, yeah, he's a real nutter and this and that. And he's got tattoos everywhere. He actually sells antiquarian books in Petersfield.
I watched Portsmouth in the
And I've
pre-season
been to
friendly.
his bookshop. And he wasn't there at the time, but I put like wisdoms and I buy a couple of
Back to Glenn's notes.
Anyway, yeah. but yeah, you look at him, you go, he's a nutter, but he's not. He's the most learned, cultured bloke, apart from on a Saturday.
There were some stewards at the club who remain.
What's he called, Pompey John or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, with a bell, yeah. Honestly,
amazing.
he's got an antiquarian bookshop second-hand bookshop. He sells antiquarian books. Okay, antique bookshop in Petersfield. No word of a lie.
There are some stewards at the club who remain unnamed who, during a pre-season friendly, tried to take the bell off of him.
Right. Well,
they didn't succeed.
You can never take a bell off a man.
Thanks for that, Serge.
Anyway,
when they do that, we need a bell.
Oh, Glenn, we've missed you.
We have. Comment below if you've missed Glenn.
When did Hector Bellerin? Perfectly sufficient name. Commentators started calling him Bellerin.
Yeah.
Well,
Is this like your Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang?
It's going from, like, I'm sure when Robert Pires first arrived, he was known as Robert Pires.
Bobby Pires.
Yeah.
To be fair, I still refer to him as Terry Emery.
There was a time when he was probably in nappies.
He still is now, though.
I was going to say, I still am now, mate.
It was David Ginola, and overnight.
David Ginola.
Yeah, I know, David.
Just that vest at Barnsley, wasn't
What next? Next it'll be Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Ainsley Maitland-Miles.
And if you know, you know.
Just a word about the Gooner as well. Gooner Fanzine. Next issue's out on Sunday. Me and Kev put the finishing touches to a team effort last Friday. It's out on sale for Sunday against Newcastle. Great value. There's got loads of brilliant Arsenal writers there as ever. We've obviously got Lee Dixon as a columnist. There we go. And we're going to announce a new big name columnist, and we've got a couple more as well in the pipeline. But buy it. We're obviously ramping up the subscriptions as well. £30 for a year, £42 if you live abroad,
and £25 if you play for Arsenal.
£25 if you pay for Arsenal. Watch the Lee Dixon link. I'm sure Toby's going to put it up there at some stage. So, subscribe to the Gooner, buy the Gooner, support your local independent fanzine.
Yes.
So, yeah.
You're going Sunday?
Well said.
I'm not. I don't
Yes,
know.
I'll be there Sunday.
I'll be
Yeah.
there Sunday. I'll be
Looking forward to it, actually.
I'll be getting the real experience. These guys get lunch and nice warm seats and padded seats. We'll be there just shouting and screaming in the ice cold.
That's just
I'm
every
the odd
day
one
for
out.
you, shouting and screaming.
He often does it just facing a wall, don't he?
Practice.
Dan, did you have a note or a rant?
I thought you were going to call me out about my favourite game of the season.
Oh yes.
Yeah. If you don't know, Dan obviously covers a lot of football as well. Football journalist, sports journalist, really, really good at what he does.
Oh, thanks, Layth.
But he did send a tweet on Saturday, and obviously Arsenal weren't playing, so we allowed him to go to another game. It's not Arsenal.
You're not my boss
Anymore.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
But basically, Dan did a tweet saying he had his favourite game of the season on Saturday. I think he deserves to be called out a little bit on that. But talk us through it anyway.
So on Saturday, I went to watch Ebbsfleet against Royston. Royston,
Of
the Crows,
Royston, who I
of the
covered for the
Crows.
Royston Crow. They beat Ebbsfleet 2-0 to reach the quarterfinals of the FA Trophy, which is a massive achievement. They beat the likes of Boreham Wood, Chester City, doing really well, flying high in the league. And I basically tweeted saying it was my favourite game of the season because of the way they played, the fight and the grit, the atmosphere and the way the supporters were. But you're going to call me out? How many games have Arsenal won the league this season?
So that was better than Chelsea Arsenal with 2-2?
Yes.
That was better, really?
Yes.
Oh, damn.
You had to be there. You had to be there. I
I'm not angry, I'm just
I massively
disappointed.
enjoyed it, and well done to Royston Town. Hopefully Arsenal start to win some games soon, so they can become my favourites again. But yeah, as I say, well done to Royston Town.
Seriously.
Steve Castle, well done. Steve.
Yeah,
Big up
shout out
Steve Castle, you legend.
Seriously, if you're a Royston Town fan and an Arsenal fan, and you're this deep into the podcast, please comment.
And follow me on Twitter as well.
You need to comment.
We need
seriously.
a comment.
That is so niche. You need to comment.
Fans supporting one of the bigger clubs.
Mate, up the Crows.
Big up the Crows.
Honestly.
Anyway.
Well,
My local
anyway.
team doesn't exist anymore.
Who's that?
It was Croydon Athletic.
Neil Southland.
Yeah. Croydon Athletic disbanded after the cricket fixing scandal.
I actually don't care.
Oh, I was just so disappointed.
Podcast in itself.
Yeah, not on the Gooner Fanzine TV.
No, gutted.
I am ending the podcast.
And if you've all of a sudden tuned off...
Thank you very much
We
for
don't
watching. And
Alright, you didn't swear at him.
please please subscribe if you're still. I doubt you're still watching.
If anyone's still here, fair play.
But please do subscribe because it does help us. We've just reached 3,000 subscribers.
Come on!
We're on the up. And also like the video. And again, leave any comments on anything you said this week. See you next week. Yeah, no, nothing
I'll
goes
go
away.
on.
Thanks very much for watching. See you next week. Cheers.
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 Go on the Crows!